to be clear, I'm only doing this because you asked. Okay, if a person is living a Christian life and they're having a good time, their family is Christian, their friends are Christian, and everything is going well, I have no interest in taking you out of the path, man. So, but since you asked, why is it better? Well, the first thing is like if you're not living your life at least partially based off what's gonna happen after you die, then you are more likely to come into true contact with your desires and the things that actually do make you tick and what gives you personally purpose and meaning and significance in life. And if you're no longer, enslaved by a particular ideology, you're allowed to have very unusual beliefs that go in one direction or another. So you get to exercise and participate in much more freedom. For some people who are raised in like Anglo-Saxon, not Catholic cultures, which probably includes you, assuming that you're American or British or something like that. Like these people have been superimposed with a lot of guilt, so a lot of the guilt kind of goes away. Like I don't have any particular guilt for doing any particular action because there isn't a God that's judging me. Of course, I still feel guilty if I do something immoral, but that's just because of my ethical stance on things. Um, Orgies are really cool. Drugs are amazing. Psychedelics in particular are like phenomenal. So those are some of the things. Yeah, like I hear from the grapevine that going to church is really boring. I mean, I've only been to church like 10, 12, 15 times or something. It wasn't boring for me because I was an anthropologist and I was very curious, but like, it would be rid of that particular obligation. It allows you to marry a wider range of people. Probably you don't have to like hang out in your religion. And what else? You are welcome to read all like the philosophy and the history and all that stuff that was done by non-Christians, and that might give you even like further layers of interestingness and meaning in the world. You get to unweave the rainbow if you happen to also be a smart person, so you can learn some science. You can understand a lot about how the world works. I've particularly like been always fascinated by how the mind works, and I've been fascinated by Darwinism. So like understanding in which particular ways our minds evolved to be the way they are, understanding why we believe the things that we believe, including religions for that matter. You will get like a whole fundamentally different understanding of religion. Another advantage is that intelligent people will take you more seriously. Like as a very intelligent person, I can tell you that like at least 90% of us, like the second you say you're Christian, we stop listening because it doesn't really matter, right? Not because there aren't intelligent Christians. Philosopher Alasdair MacIntyre, Kierkegaard. That there have been a few smart Christians through history, especially before Darwinism was like extremely well understood. There might be some living intelligent Christian, none is occurring to me right now, but I'm sure there are some. Um, but yeah, so like if you want to be respected by people of like actual intellect who can actually like think about science and philosophy and have like a deep understanding of those things. What else? If you want to do something that the religion would not allow you, like because of its precepts or something like that, if you wanna, I don't know, go off into the horizon and marry an 18-year-old girl and have children in the south of Italy because you think that that's like a great thing to do. Um, but your religion wouldn't allow you to, whatever, divorce your wife. Well, I don't know, like maybe you can divorce your wife. Maybe that's not like that big of a deal. It's always interesting for like some part of the population to learn that these guys are very close relative cousins, and not only they have hands and we have hands and they have eyes and we have eyes, but even the parts of the brain have like the equivalents and stuff. So you can read a bunch about like primatology and understand how their minds works. That can be like an interesting exercise. um if you believe in hell, I mean, I'm so sorry someone did that to you, but like knowing that hell doesn't exist is very liberating, you know? Like, at least I know for sure that there's no way that I'm gonna be like tortured by an all-knowing, benevolent entity who's gonna put me on fire for eternity, cause like I jerked off more than my neighbors. Like, it's just, yeah. So that kind of thing can be very pleasing. You can enjoy George Carlin's comedy much more. Tim Minchin's music is really good. So those are like two uh, atheist cultural participators that are very good. Some of the debates by like Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris, and like the new atheists are pretty good. If you're a very intellectual guy, you can read Daniel Dennett's Breaking the Spell, and it will make you understand culture in a completely different light. You get to join the crowds of people who make fun of Christians sometimes, and get to enjoy that prospect. What else? Eventually, you will forgive your parents and all the other ideologues, your priests and whoever else convinced you of all that stuff, because they didn't know any better, right? Like they were stupid one day too. It feels good to learn something, especially if it's something very deep and fundamental that allows you to like back off from it and be able to like look at the whole universe anew with a new perspective. And it actually changes, like if you examine, it changes how your hippocampus processes information. So it allows you to read the entire world anew. So depending on your age, but like it will happen no matter what your age is. It will give you like basically a new map of reality where you will get to re-encounter as a stranger, as a foreigner, as a visitor, everything you've already known about the world. You will be able to see all those things in a new light, and that's like super fun. Like you're gonna get a lot of dopamine. It's like being a tourist in a new land, even though you're like literally in your own house. Like like, even the wall of the bathroom is gonna feel like a different experience from what you've ever lived before. You're gonna understand a lot of the other side in a lot of discussions that like in the past you thought, oh my god, these godless people, what the hell is going on. It might allow you to be more friendly to other religious groups that maybe because you had all that bullshit running in your head of like only one god before, whatever. Like maybe you understand the Muslims better, maybe you understand the Hindus better, maybe you understand the Buddhists better. So those are some of the main advantages. What else can you do? Evolution is like super interesting, man. Like if you delve into it, like you can literally read like thousands and thousands and thousands of pages and not get bored, because it's fascinating to know like how it all like actually happened, and not how like some monkey 2000 years ago came up with the idea that it happened in order to facilitate the slaughter of men in war and the sacrifice of the peasants to the nobility. It might help you change social class, right? Like in the higher social classes there's far more atheists, even in the United States, which is kind of like the alien country, in the sense that it's the country that is both rich and religious at the same time. um, what else? What are the other advantages of being an atheist? Most atheists, at least for a little while, they like enjoy learning to argue and to think and stuff. But to be honest, they don't really go very far. Like, so that's kind of like a risk. Like, don't fall into that rut. Sometimes you meet atheists that like they think that they're like the last cookie in the package, and they're the smartest people on earth because they found out that God didn't exist. And I'm like, Jesus, man, there is so much deeper you can go with knowledge. So there are some risks associated, but like I think overall, to stop believing that the all-knowing benevolent entity created you and somehow it's gonna burn your children in the fires of hell if they switch sides, is probably gonna be beneficial to you. Take care.